Good morning.
Good morrow.
Uh-huh. Welcome to Monday Morning
Fellow
Mindset.
countrymen and better known as...
Mm.
Okay, that was interesting.
That was weird.
It wasn't...
Yeah, that was funky. Mark and Brandi Aspinall with Berkshire Hathaway, Colorado Real Estate, the Living Colorado Elite team. So glad you joined us on this beautiful Monday.
Yeah. We're excited to be back. Spring break was amazing last week. We got to go see family in Wisconsin and just really enjoy, our girls on the drive and long drive, but always worth it.
If you have young-ish kids and you've never done a long road trip, like a day or two road trip, do it. Our girls absolutely love it, and it's surprising. And I think we end up spending less than we would on a flight. You know, we'd have to rent a car by the time we got to wherever we're going anyway. And then as long as you stop at a hotel with a pool, even if it's a bad pool, they absolutely love it.
Yeah. Our girls love it.
Yeah.
Always give them something to look forward to because it makes the trip way shorter for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, whether it is seeing a new aspect of the region, or we usually do the Omaha Zoo on the way back. The issue this time was it was way too cold.
So cold.
And a lot of the exhibits were closed, so we did not do that. However, we spent an extra time at the pool, one of their favorite pools that we go to on the way out. Bria refers to it as the froggy pool.
The froggy pool.
The froggy pool.
Favorite froggy pool.
It has a frog slide. That's all you need to know. It has like lily pads.
Not actual frogs in the pool.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on. Awesome.
So that's your Monday morning mindset. Don't go to a pool with actual frogs in it. Instead, find a frog slide. No? Is that not?
It works. It absolutely works. But this morning, our quote for this week, we were kind of going through what we need to focus on mindset, where that goes. And we always find that a lot of people in our industry, and maybe in yours too, when they start out, they make a mistake and it keeps them from moving forward. And the quote this week was, "Every artist was first an amateur," and that's Ralph Waldo Emerson, because I can say his first name.
Let's try that again.
Ralph Waldo Emerson. Perfect. Okay, so whatever you find yourself thinking that whenever you find yourself thinking that a goal is impossible, just remember that experts were once beginners and they made mistakes, and each mistake was a chance to learn and move forward and become an expert within their field. One of the things we always say is we look at don't ever compare yourself to someone else, because you don't know the trials, the challenges, the mistakes, the failures, if you will. I put that in quotes because they didn't look at them as failures. They looked at them as a chance to learn and move forward.
Well, and what do you see, right? And especially now in our current culture, we see, it's funny as this is going on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, you see the positive things usually. You see the successes. You see the victories. You don't always see the failures that get them there. One, because, they don't always want to share that. I get that. And two, it's not as entertaining to see people fail on a day-to-day basis in a normal everyday life. Yes, watching someone try to walk outside and slip on that piece of ice and do some crazy move 5 times and then fall flat on their butt, is all over Instagram and everything else. That's hilarious, but the normal everyday failures are not entertaining. They're not fun. They're not, I don't know.
Yeah, and usually those failures are in your mindset and where you're at, because your emotions are neutral. If you think about it, joy, fear, those are kind of neutral. It's what your mind puts to them in the situation that makes it relevant for that area that you're experiencing that emotion in. I could go a lot more into that. Good morning, Jory. How are you? We miss you. Love you. Hi, Carrie. So as you're going through, let's say you have a failure. What emotion are you, if you will, do you equate, and how do you attribute and apply that emotion to the situation. And that's a choice. That's a mindset. So one of the big, the Beatles. I was kind of the Beatles, right? Everybody knows the Beatles. They were fantastic. They were amazing.
Who are they?
Yeah, right?
Oh.
So one of the things that I read about them, and it was kind of fun to read about, but McCartney, his first time performing when he was 16, there was a bunch of 15, 16-year-olds figuring it out, failing, doing what they did, but in practice, before one of their first, performances back in the day, when he kind of had a chance meeting and they brought him on as the guitarist, he could play a number, or a guitar solo for guitar boogie is what they called it, in practice, and it was seamless. And so they're like, you're going to do that during the concert. This is going to be your gig. It's your time to shine. However, when it got to that part, and I'm going to quote him, he says, "For my first gig, I was given a guitar solo on Guitar Boogie. I could play it easily in rehearsal, so they elected that I should do it as my solo. Things were going fine, but when the moment came in the performance, I got sticky fingers. I thought, what am I doing here? I thought. That was a mindset. He had an emotion, and then he put a thought to that emotion as, what am I doing here? Why am I even on the stage?" And it says, "I was just too frightened. It was too big of a moment with everyone looking at the guitar player. I couldn't do it. That's why George was brought in." Wow. And if you think about that story and how far they came from his first gig getting paralyzed, and then they brought in John, but then they became, and the whole band was excellent, but they had to go through those thoughts, those emotions, those failures, those fears. I heard, and I can't remember, I don't want to misquote the facts, I gotta research it, but I heard there was one time where they had to play, it was like 9 gigs a week over a couple months, which equated to like 390 some performances before they even came a week or something, or like a month, but before they even hit a big stage. So their failures, their practices, they had to learn how to be performers. They had to lean into those challenges and become the band that they were, which if you study their history, they became the best-selling band of all time. And that is impressive from them, even from, McCartney's first failure. He froze on his first chance to do it. And
that's why he became a bass player. It's easier. It
right?
is.
But this whole band has certain stories. If you read their biography and what they went through, each one of them has successes and some major public falling flat on your face, and they got up and they became huge. Whether you like them or not, that was their journey and their story. So every artist was first an amateur. And if you are feeling like you are an amateur today, that's all right. It's great. We feel like we're amateurs.
At least once a week.
At least once a week.
Yeah.
Me once a day.
Yeah.
But we just encourage you to keep going. When you have that emotion, make the choice to move forward, because your willingness and if you will, the choices that you make through those emotions that you apply to the circumstance has the outcome for you, whether it's good or bad for you. And so make those choices to move forward. Don't quit. Keep going. Be the amateur so that you can become the expert.
So good. I mean, there's nothing to add to that. Mark and Brandi Aspinall with Berkshire Hathaway Living Colorado Elite. So glad you joined us for this Monday Morning Mindset.
Yeah. I have to make a comment before we get off.
What?
So my dad said...
Oh, my dear Lord.
And this is for you, Dad. We want to pump you up. Okay. If you don't know the reference, ask my father. Love you guys. Have a great week. That's it for Mark and Brandi Aspel. Monday Morning Mindset, better known as. We'll see you on Friday for Fort Fun Friday Facts, better known as.
Have a great week.